Hello YouTube, my name's Sean Connors and welcome back to the Outsiders channel. Today is a special day because I'm doing a bonus video, specifically for all the wonderful support that I've received over the last few weeks. This is a mailbag program. I did them quite a few times back in the day, and I've decided that it's important to resurrect it. So I opened my email up to you, and you've all been wonderful in sending so many requests through. Now, quite a few of those requests, I'm sure you'll have seen, are already being answered through my videos that I'm doing. But some questions need a mailbag program, and I've chosen 3 that are specific for today's bonus video. So I'm going to take you through those in just a moment. The first one deals with Call of Cthulhu, and it's from somebody called Grey Tiger 70, Jeff. Hello, Jeff. And Jeff wants me to give him what I would consider my must-have books. I decided that I'd try to bring this down to a list of 5, and we're going to quickly cover those off and the reasons why. So Jeff, this is for you. Thanks very much for the question, and I look forward to seeing what you make of this video. And anybody else out there who's interested in Call of Cthulhu as well will find this little walk down memory lane fascinating. So let's go and have a look. Starting with, I'll move my big head, The Masks of Neanderthal. I have it here, and it rates as one of my all-time favourite pieces of work from Call of Cthulhu. It is a must-have book for any aspiring DM to get a feel for what works best. This is a world-spanning campaign, very deep, many months of play, probably about 2 years worth of work that went into this. I've run this a few times. We've reached the conclusion once out of 3 attempts. The other 2 times the group unfortunately never made it. They didn't make it to the end. But that's one of the great things about it. It's a real testing piece. It's difficult. There are bits in here as a GM you will probably have to tweak to your audience. But the visualization, the handouts, the set pieces in here, this is an absolute must-have. So if there's one book I'm going to recommend to you, it has to be The Master of Neanderthal for many reasons. And I think the 3 real key reasons for me is the whole encompassing story, the end is very provocative, and the set pieces throughout are excellent. Yes, it needs work, but it's brilliant because it will take your players on a journey throughout the entire known world and places beyond. Absolutely immense, so it has to be rated as one of the best pieces of work for Cthulhu to grab. So if you can get hold of it, please do. The second book that I'm going to recommend, and another campaign book actually, is the Beyond the Mountains of Madness. So you can see the backdrop there, 1937. The Mask of Neanderthal, actually I didn't mention that last part, was roughly 1920s, that setting. This is 1930, so a sort of 10-year period on. But who can not like an Antarctic exploration? It comes with its own Antarctic map. It's very authentic, very neat. Again, a wonderful campaign that takes the players on a fantastic, unforgettable journey into the frozen wastelands. I did a lot of research when I've run this, and it's conjured up and made me very inspired. If you've ever seen The Thing, the film, that's a great sort of resource in terms of getting a feel for the cold, the elements, things like that. It's very, again, very beautiful. There's lots of, again, lovely set pieces through here, and again, the imagery that you can create and the overall flavour and feel of the game. This isn't everybody's taste, but it's one of mine. I love elements. I like games that put the players in that sort of situation. Christ, if I could have run this game in a cold locker, I would have done, because I would want those players shivering at that table, really feeling the effects, not of just the elements, but what is actually coming. It's a great story in terms of, that you can see the quest, the goal, and when you get there, the fear, the immense form of satisfaction and disbelief. Beautiful. Can't be understated or overstated enough. A wonderful thing. Third book that I'm going to recommend that you look at is actually a box set, actually. It's Horror on the Orient Express, a 1920s Call of Cthulhu scenario. I absolutely love the idea of a travelling journey that has immense horror implications, or an investigation of that ilk. I love that. Has a very Sherlock Holmes, has a very classic H.P. Lovecraft feel to it. It's beautiful. This is perhaps not the best of the 3 stories so far, but it has some amazing handouts, and some of the props, the tickets, the railway carriages, and some of the other elements to it really feels very authentic. Again, it really got my mind inspired. I like dangerous journeys anyway. I find them interesting as a GM. And there's another book I'll recommend here for you, Jeff, which is called Dangerous Passages, another Call of Cthulhu book. I haven't put it in the 5 that I'm going to show you, but as the 2 are so intricately linked, we have a plane in the background. Hopefully it's not coming into land, because we will have a problem. The garden's only very small. But what I'll do now is take you on to my 4th selection, and I look forward to showing you that. I'm going to cheat a little here and use Acton Cthulhu. It's a lovely period piece I do enjoy, and anybody who's been along to the games convention in Birmingham over the last couple of years will know how much of a fan I am of Call of Cthulhu. It was my great pleasure to run my own scenario in the Cthulhu Masters final this year, which I had a ball doing. It was a lot of fun, very psychological. But the Acton Cthulhu by Morpheus Games, these pieces of work are wonderfully provocative, and I recommend it wholeheartedly. It's a great era, very easy to find research on because of course it's very recent history, and there's lots of things you can do as a GM. I created my own white papers, a fold-away, 3 fold-away character sheet, so when you pull it open you've got the picture of the person on the front, very much like the original white papers you used to have in World War II. Absolutely fantastic. So much you can do with this genre, and you'll have an absolute blast running it, so I wholeheartedly recommend it to you to go and have a look and research. My final recommendation for you here is Grace Under Pressure. I think you can probably just about make it out. That's from the Resurrected Volume 1, The Unspeakable Oath. It's a wonderful publication for Call of Cthulhu. They're pretty much, most of them are out of print, but I'm sure you can track down a copy. Grace Under Pressure is, in my view, the way, if you want to run convention games, this is the story to look at to help you understand how to get the best out of a 4-hour set piece of play, what sort of props are going to be required to make it zing, to make it come alive, and when you read this you'll understand why I'm saying this. This helped me, in a nutshell, understand about the value of props, when to do it in conventions, how to do it, and I really believe it's been instrumental in making me have the most amount of fun, and I believe the players around that table at conventions. Now, on the back of Jeff's video, it's a great point to bring his little part of his letter to a close, and we will move on in a moment to the next part of the mailbag, but I just want to add this in here. I'm going to run a Call of Cthulhu one-shot. If you've ever seen Reservoir Dogs, well, I'm going to be doing something pretty similar. And if you'd like to be part of that, one-shot, now it will not be recorded live unless somebody was kind enough to do that for me. They're more than welcome. But it will be, I will need you to email me at Sean, sean.connors, C-O-N-N-O-R-S, 45 at iCloud.com. And I need an address because I'm going to be sending you some details in the post. And this won't be happening for a few weeks. But trust me, it's a beautiful piece. I'd love to show you a bit more Cthulhu, and why not do that through a one-shot that I ran at the recent Cthulhu Masters. So if you're interested, please let people know. So let's move on to the second question. Second question is from Lorenzo from Italy, and in essence what it's regarding is the problem when to add bonuses for people checking for things, i.e. if you've got a room full of characters, they all want to do the same check. Do they stack up? How do you play it? What sort of tips would you give? I want to just also give a big shout out to Italy in general and to you, Lorenzo. Thank you very much for this question. It's a really good one. Now, in general, the way that I actually handle sort of checks like that, and a good example might be using Pathfinder, because they have things like aid. It's down to you as a GM, really. The interpretation is fairly simple. If you think about it, if somebody's going to check for traps and someone's going to assist them, they've got just, if they want to accept that assistance, there's just as much chance that when they go to try and assist them, that they also set the trap off. I don't see any reason why you couldn't allow a room full of characters who want to go checking for traps, all of them can make rolls. However, it should be done in some sort of order. Otherwise, they're all haphazardly going all over the room, searching for traps in different locations. So you want to be quite specific. Where exactly are you searching? I'm going to check the fireplace. I'm going to check that wall. Then you know what people are doing, and then it does become individual rather than a cluster of people trying to stack a bonus on top of each other. Personally speaking, I think you just got a little bit of play it by ear. Some things make more sense. So if somebody wants to assist another person to climb a wall, I don't really see a problem with that. You know, if they're standing at the bottom of the wall, put their hands under them and help them up. What harm can that do? So it's down to your personal interpretation, to be honest with you, Lorenzo. I hope it makes sense. Just simply think about the skill check that someone wants to do. Does it feel fair? If you're going to get a lot of people trying to go searching for something in a room, be fair. Ask them specifics. Exactly where are you going to check? What are you going to do? Because it's likely that one of them is going to be the one that's going to need to make the key roll, as opposed to all of them trying to gain some advantage. And that's the way that I would handle checks. Just think about it from a logical point of view. You decide whether anything could be allowed in terms of help, and then go from there. Hopefully that answers your question. Anyway, let's move on to the final part of the video, the final question. Final letter, Evan asked me a very simple question about, not because I wasn't very heavily involved in the playtest, I backed out quite quickly from it. Did this help me evaluate the final product, what we're seeing so far? Did it help? I think it does. I think sometimes when you're heavily invested in playtesting, your judgment does get clouded. Also, it gets frustrating at times, and then by the time the product has got out, you're actually pretty fatigued with it. You've seen so many changes, so many new directions, so many things that didn't make it into the final draft. You may not be as happy with it as you could be if you just stood back, had a look at the product with a fresh perspective, fresh pair of eyes, and see how it's actually panned out. I'm personally delighted with 5th edition. I think anybody can see that on my channel, how much I'm really going to get behind it. I love it, and it's my absolute pleasure to say this, Evan. It's a marvellous edition. It's my favourite bar none. I love it. It's the perfect fantasy game for me. I really, really love it to pieces. It's so easy to run and get involved in, and I'm really going to look forward to that ride over these next few years when this game will see a lot of time at my table. So I do believe, yes, it's helped keeping away from it and then seeing as it unfolds. I'm massively excited about seeing the Player's Handbook, so hopefully you are, and thank you very much for the question. Now all that leaves me to do here is to say, this is my 500th video, actually. I hadn't mentioned at the beginning, but it's my 500. There are a number of videos that don't show up on my video feed. Those are either been deleted because I don't think they were good enough, or more likely, they're privately listed because I do a lot of stuff with people offline, one-to-one chats, videos, bits and pieces, to help them. And all that is just part of what I believe you have to do to give back to this wonderful hobby of ours. So again, that service is always there for people. But it's been my pleasure over the years to put these videos out, and it's because of everybody out there that I've been inspired to come back and actually do some videos. There are many people to thank for that, but the best way to do a thanks really is to give something back. And so what I'm going to do, as well as other than doing the one-shot for Cthulhu, which I think is going to be a classic, so please get involved, is if you'd like to be involved in something very unique and very special and would like a opportunity, a chance to win a tremendous amount of free RPG material, then all you have to do is say, yeah, I'm interested, Sean. It's limited places, actually. I think it's going to be limited to 30 people. So if you're interested in that and want to be part of it, then why don't you email me, Sean, SEAN.Connors, CONNORS, 45 at iCloud.com, and the first 30 people will be put into a special pool. All of you will get something. There's no doubt about that, and this will take place relatively soon, and I will show you in due course how that's actually going to work. Anyway, let's leave that there and see who's interested. But once again, thank you for watching the Outsiders 68 channel. I've been Sean Connors. Happy gaming, and take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.